Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham, the first of the lunchtime preview shows, previewing the match at the weekend. Fortunately, Brian can't be with us, he's got a family emergency, so wish him all the best and hope everything's okay and hopefully he can come back soon. But I have another brilliant guest, Eujin from Spursuasian TV. Anyone who knows me knows I've been on Tommy Talks Ball and met Eujin on there. Hi Eugene, thanks so much for coming on. I understand it's fairly late in the day, so I appreciate you coming on with your time difference. How are you doing?
Doing well. My pleasure to be on your show. First time debut on your stream today. It's not that late for us. It's about 7:30 p.m. here, okay. So we don't sleep that early anyway. I don't sleep that early.
Well, Adam, who comes on here in the UK, goes to sleep at about 9 o'clock. So for him, it's touch and go for you if he was in your situation. As I said, you've got a Spurs YouTube channel as well. Anyone who doesn't watch that, doesn't know about it, where can they find you?
We run as what called a Spursuasian TV, right? More or less, we're trying to bridge the Spurs fans from Asia and bring them to platforms like yours, Chris, right? Meeting up with the rest of the local fans and, of course, the international fans. And one thing wonderful about Spurs is that we do have a lot of international fans around the world. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, so if you don't already, subscribe to Eugene's channel, like the videos, watch the old channels. And also do that for this channel as well. But we're here to talk about the City game. That's on Sunday, the first game of the new season, the first game in, I have no idea how long, that 100% capacity in the ground. Feelings for the match? Are you excited about it? Are you nervous because it is City? I mean, is it a good time to play City as well? First game of the season. What are your feelings for the match at this moment in time?
Overall, the feeling, of course, I'm not in the UK, right? But of course, we do wait for matches like this. And the starting of the season is always the most exciting because we never know what happens, okay? It all depends on, the preparations they've been going through. And the most wonderful thing is that the fans are coming back into the stadium. It's going to bring back the real atmosphere of football again, right? Not to have like nearly half a season or nearly one season, 1.5 seasons, was it? No,
I honestly can't remember now. Time has completely passed me by in the last however long it's been.
Yeah, it's been more or less in that scenario. We've got fans coming back, but of course, hopefully the fans will take care. Look after the SOPs and all that. I understand even after your double vax and all that, it doesn't actually make you immune from the virus. No. So just be careful, be safe, and take care and enjoy the game. For so many months, we have not had a live game with live fans in it. So that has to be enjoyed thoroughly.
Yeah, I agree. Alan here, Alan Harries, thanks so much for the comment. It's never a good time to play City, but I'm a Spurs fan, I have to be confident. That's exactly what I think as well, Alan. If we were in a relegation battle, I'd still think we could win every game. So I think, even though it's never a good time to play City because they are the champions, I think generally what happens with City is they take a little bit of time to get into their rhythm until they start battering teams. So I think it's not the worst time to play them when they've gone on the run of 3, 4, 5 games undefeated and stuff like that, and then you play them. I think that's a bit of an issue. But do you think the fans will make a difference? Obviously, we didn't have fans for any games last season, and probably for Jose Mourinho's perspective, probably quite a good thing because they've been booed every game. Do you think the fans will make a difference and that they'll be super loud because it's a super exciting time being able to come back? And do you think if that happens that the players will respond in kind, so be on the front foot a bit more? Or do you think because this is City, it's going to have to be a bit of a sit back and counter-attack job?
A lot of things we can't predict at the moment, Chris, to tell the truth, because this is actually Nuno's first game coming in at that level, right? And Nuno has usually done well against the big 6 teams when it comes to when he was managing Wolves. So we do have our chances. If we take our chances, I guess we will get a good results. And for the fans, as I said, I want to take it how is it, a step at a time. Okay. Number one, all the fans, be positive. All right. We have to be positive first. Don't be negative straight away. If you be negative straight away, you give that negative energy out to the team, right? Yeah. Then you will have, you might not get the results that you desire. But if you stay positive, support the players, support the team, don't support Levy. Right? But Nuno and the players and the team need your support, especially all those in the stadium. They need your support. Apart from all the other things that's been going on, the team needs your support. Be positive, give positive reinforcement, give positive energy out there, give positive what I call enhancement for the players to feel that they're being loved and they're cared for. Because this is going to be the first time for, I think, 18 months, if I'm not mistaken. We closed halfway through last 1-9 season. Then we played the whole 2-0, the 2-0 season, right? Until now, 21. That was one whole year, if I'm not mistaken, without fans. Or was it in March? Or we closed in March, or was it 6 months? I'm getting somewhere. So it's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time. There hasn't been fans in the stadium. So the fans have to play their part in a positive way, right? It doesn't matter who plays, who starts, right? And all the saga has been going on this past week that we've been through. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Support your team.
Yeah, I think it will be rocking. And my last game was Man City game at home when Bergwijn's debut. I can't remember now if that was the last home game we had before fans weren't allowed in. But if it wasn't, it was close. But I remember that game, obviously, the way that it happened, a penalty saved, another penalty potentially was VAR declined. But that was the loudest I've heard that new stadium ever.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking at the time, this sounds like White Hart Lane. So if the fans can, I think it would be fairly similar to that. I think fans will be, regardless of what's happened with Levy or Kane or whatever, the fans will be excited to be able to go and watch live football again. And I think that will show from the start. I hope that shows from the start. One thing I did want to mention just before we...
sorry, Chris, is it capacity?
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
So that means we will be breaking around 55 to 60,000, that means.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention this guy, Paul Coit. I think I've pronounced that right. He's the guy at the stadium. If you've ever been to the game at halftime, he does the interviews with the ex-players or celebrities. He's retired now, or he's no longer doing that job after 16 years. And I've always found it to be really entertaining. And he always seems to have the respect, and the players and the celebrities feel comfortable with him. So yeah, there's a plan apparently 45 minutes in to sing One of Your Own to him. So hopefully the fans can do that. I will be. But yeah, and then in his own words, in Paul's own words, support the team, up the Spurs. Yeah. We come on to the next one. I know you didn't really want to talk to it about it that much, but we have to a little bit. Just a quick question. Will Kane play? He's back in training today. He's obviously not trained that much. Will he play? Will he come off the bench? Daniel, who from America, who was on Friday, thinks he's convinced that he'll come off the bench. But do you think he'll play? And if he does, what kind of reception do you think he'll get? Being that what's happened, do you think it'll be a kind of boo? You want to leave us, or please stay, and the one of our own?
To tell the truth, I don't really care whether he plays or not, okay? Because now, if we come down to what I call the club and the team, the most important is the team, right? If he plays and he is available and I'll call at least 70 to 80% or 90% fit, and he still can perform, of course we will love him to play, right? That's Harry Kane, one of our own. And whether he wants to leave or he wants to stay, all the saga, all the drama and all that, I still wish the fans support him 100%, be behind him and all that. It could be his last match, for all you know, right? And show him the love. You can say no. Because to me, in the end of the day, Kane may leave now, right? If you make it such a bad, how to say it, such a horrible separation, right?
Yeah.
He wouldn't want to come back.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? For me, he's one of our own. If he leaves to MCT, he might go for 3 years, 4 years. And maybe 32 years old, if he's still more or less at that standard, he still can come back. Right?
Yeah.
He still can come back. And if you please don't sever the ties with him. Right?
Yeah.
Don't break his heart. That's what I'm trying to say. Right?
Yeah.
No matter deep down inside, we understand one thing, right? Being human, we are selfish deep down inside, right? We want what we want for ourselves first before we think about other people. So once you get your objective, then maybe he'll come back and he will perform for us. Maybe by then we will have a team that's worthy of him. Don't forget, all these years we have never had a team worthy of Kane, right? When he started, nobody believed him. Okay, somehow or another, we loved him, we supported him. And you remember when the first season when he scored 21 goals or 22 goals, right? Everybody was saying, he's going to do it one season. Only he's a one season wonder, right? How many years has it been? 7, right?
Yeah.
And somehow or another, our owners neglected him, never for all the years he's been playing. And I guess maybe he's been overplayed and tired. That's why sometimes when you reach a certain level, he can't perform. And when he doesn't perform, the fans will say, see, he's gone to the final and he didn't perform, right? So put that all behind, right? It's a new season. We have a new manager. We got new players coming in. To tell the truth, I'm not worried about Kane. I'm more worried about what our defense is. Are we going to play Romero, or are we still going to stick with Dian Sanchez? Dian Sanchez again, right? So that's more of my worry. And of course, not to talk about the midfield, okay? Of course, I'm very happy Skippy is back, okay? Hopefully he gets his chance, right? But then don't forget, we still lack a creative midfielder, right? A right winger, okay? So this is all up to Nuno. How is he going to place all his players? How is he going to play them tactically? And how is he going to approach MCT? Because MCT, like you said earlier, they never start they're not, once they are in and they will shoot like a rocket, right? They always have their kinks before they get into their groove, right? And don't forget, Kevin is out, Foden is out. So Pep has got his headaches too. Okay, Pep has got his headaches too.
Do you think that gives us a little bit of an edge with those two out? They're obviously mainstays in that team. Grealish will definitely come in, but he's only played one game for City, only a handful of training sessions. So I guess it's kind of to my point earlier that they won't be in their groove yet, and that they've got a big part of their team, a big part of their game is that midfield, which De Bruyne and Foden are out. Grealish coming in, who's maybe not used to playing with those players. Do you think that gives us an edge, or do you think it's Man City, they're the champions, they've got quality all over the pitch, won't make that much difference?
I don't think it will give us an edge, right? But I guess we're quite equal to it. We're quite equal to them. Not an edge, because if we get an edge, we might win it. But to me, at the moment, I see if we get a draw, right, I'll be very happy with it. Right, because you're playing against the champions, reigning champions, right, and the potential champions, and of course with what the money they are capable of spending, most probably the Champions League champions too, right? So potentially, all this is all potentially, but like I said, it's still the first game of the season, Chris. We do not know. For all we know, we can go out and smash them because they might be still lost. You can say now, right? And don't forget, a lot of the players are all coming back from the international tournaments, the Euros, the Copa, the Olympics, right? And a lot of people say that, you just jump off from one competition and come back in and just continue on. I don't think it's like that. Don't forget the traveling. And nowadays with the COVID situation, you have to go into your quarantine 5 days, then only you meet up with your team players, then, the understanding again. But I think this season, City will have a better understanding than last season, because last season, they were actually in the rebuilding stage, right? Don't forget, the first third of the season, where were they? 13, 14, 12, right? But once they got into gear, nobody could stop them. So let's hope they are not into fourth or fifth gear now. Maybe they're in the second and third gear, and maybe we are at about third and fourth gear, and that levels out. And if we are lucky, right? Don't forget, football, luck plays a lot in it. Okay, even though VAR nowadays cancel it a lot out, right? But don't forget, VAR this year said, right, they're making the lines thicker, right? On the offsides, right? So that might be our luck, because don't forget, last season, I think Son had about 3 goals just because of his toe, and Kane had about, don't know how many goals just because of his armpit. So
I don't really know what the changes are. I know they've made changes, but
they made changes,
so it'd be interesting how that works. But I mean, you make a good point there with players playing a season coming back from the internationals, and because of COVID last year, I think it was September to May, so it's a condensed season. All of those games normally that would be in, I don't know, 9 months or whatever in a short period, and then Højbjerg, Kane in particular, travel right to the end of the Euros, the Celso to the end of the Copa America, Brian Gill he got was it a silver or bronze medal in the Olympics? I can't quite remember.
Silver. Hill got a silver because he lost to Brazil, yeah.
Yeah, with Romero, you mentioned Romero. I think he'll play. I think he'll definitely play. I think you don't buy someone like that for near on 50 million and not play him. The question is who plays with him, and the other question is are two players playing with him in central defence, or is one? So no one really seems to know what Nuno's doing. He's been playing 4-4-2 in pre-season, which you'd think you'd think, wouldn't you? New manager coming in, pre-season games, you're playing that formation. At least one of those games would be the formation you're going to play the first game, and being that he's played 4-4-2 or 4 at the back, sorry, maybe not 4-4-2, 4 at the back, and every one of those games suggests that there's going to be 4 at the back. So who partners him? For me, Rodon, I think Sanchez just needs his confidence built up, and Dyer's just got a mistake in Rodon. Would be my choice, but who would be your choice if it is 4 at the back and then one other central defender?
If Romero is added into the equation, I see a Spanish-speaking player has to play. So that will make Sanchez the most obvious choice, right? Or I'm not sure whether Dyer speaks Spanish because he speaks Portuguese, correct? He could speak Spanish too, but I'm not sure about that. But I think Sanchez would be the obvious choice to play with Romero at the moment because you do need that communication, right? Because you do need that vocal interaction between the back line. If they can't communicate, right, then you're just putting him there, standing there. He doesn't know what's going to happen. That's a very bad mistake you're going to make. But to me now, I don't think Romero will be ready because there's a news that he has a knock. Okay, he might come on. He might come on. I mean, news nowadays, you know, we always take it with a pinch of salt whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
But he might not start, but he might come on as a substitute, right? If Golini was in goal, then I say he will play because Golini can be his translator because Golini speaks Spanish and English. You can say that, and of course Italian, right? Because Golini has played with him before in Atalanta.
Yeah.
So they know how to communicate.
Year,
yeah. So that's why my problem with Romero now is the communication. He needs someone Spanish-speaking player to be on his side. So maybe Reguilon plays, right? If you play 2, then it might be Dyer and Romero and Reguilon. Then Reguilon, but we're not sure how good the English commanding of the English language that Reguilon has. So that comes back into another scenario again. So like I said, we don't know anything. As fans, we are all speculating and having our own opinions and all that. In the end of the day, the choice has to be made by Nuno.
Yeah.
That's it. No Paratici interference, no Levy interference. You know, like last season after Jose got sacked, you know, we knew Ryan Mason wasn't picking the team, correct? We knew that. We could see the choices being put on the field and going, what? Right? But now, let's hope it's not the same thing again because Levy might tell Paratici, okay, if you want to sell the players, right, you must put Sissoko on, Aurier on, right? Window dressing time, just before the season closed. And that most probably will screw everything up, right? Because there will be interference again from you know who. Okay? I hope it doesn't. Don't be surprised, right? If those few players turn up, right? Wings, Sissoko, Aurier, all turn up in the first 11 this coming Sunday. Then we'll be going again, okay, we know what's happening, so we're going back to square one.
Yeah, I'd like the first team for this City game to be the team that is going to play. Obviously, Harry Kane is an unknown quantity there. Alan said he's actually happy Kane has had another week off. That's 4 now. He's had a long season with Spurs in England, like we said, and he's injury prone, needs the vest. And he's pretty much been playing every game that he's been fit for I don't know how many years now. So yeah, he definitely needs a vest.
How many seasons he's done that, right?
Yeah, but obviously that's a question. If Kane's fit and in his mind is okay, then he probably plays. The midfield is an interesting one. Højbjerg's definite in there. I'd like to see Skip with him, but then you have got Winks, which is he's probably far way down the pecking order. But you've got a Lo Celso who's fresh from winning a Copa America. Ndombele, who, I mean, this is where Twitter is ridiculous. Ndombele was, last week he was too fat, so Nuno wants him out. Then he was upset because Aurier and Sissoko, his buddies, are going to go. And then the next day, he's there doing a photo shoot, looking like he's been there his whole life and wants to stay. And we don't even need to go into the Harry Kane saga of how that story changed every 5 minutes. But I love Ndombele. I think he's got absolutely everything. I just think he needs the confidence and the consistency of being in, this is your position, that's it. And Wayne has read our minds. What do you think of Ndombele? Stay or go? So it's quite
you see,
well timed, Wayne. For me, stay absolutely, and get him into a position that is his own. Don't switch him over every 5 games into a different position. But what do you say about Ndombele? Is it stay or go for you, or somewhere in between, if that's possible?
When it comes to Tanguy, right? He's our record signing, correct? We bought him for nearly.
Yeah.
If all goes through, right? I mean, if he reached all his potential, he's nearly a 60 million pound player that we've bought him, right? Past 2 years, I guess maybe he came in during the COVID time and Jose time. It must have not played too well on his mentality and all that, right? His fitness is a problem. We've all seen it. He can't play more than 90 minutes for how many games straight down. But like I said before, don't want to slag him, because no matter how, we are in the new season. If we do sell him, we sell him. If we don't, we hope that Nuno can bring the best out of him. That's all we fans can do. We hope, because being a football fan for so many years, we've seen so many ups and downs of our club. Not only our club, other clubs and all that. The players that come in and out, right? Sometimes I feel that our fans put out too much of the negative and the hate out there to a player. And to tell the truth, maybe 20, 30 years ago, you don't feel it, you don't care, because the information is all compressed to one section. But nowadays, with social media and the internet, one word can be repeated over 100 million times, right? And if that one word repeated 100 million times, come back to the person to hear it, how would you feel if you were in that position? It will bring you down. And of course, we want to see strong characters, right? I'm not fazed by it, right? But sad to say, our squad is not like that, because it's been proven throughout this past 2-3 years, right?
Yeah.
Because if our squad was, how is it, a bit tougher, right? They would have been able to understand Jose and implement what he wanted. But the problem is our squad was never tough, right? Half of them were like, hey, right? The heart wasn't there, right? And it was already showing before Jose, when Poch was there. The last season before Poch left and Jose came in, right? The heart wasn't there already. They were all shaking, So I guess there was some kind of lack of toughness in the mentality and all that, and maybe the professionalism, right? That's why when a lot of people say about the Kane issue about being professional, right? Kane wasn't professional by doing this and that, right? Then after that, there's some rumors coming out say that, actually he was in Florida in Uncle our Papa Louis resort. Come on, if Kane was at that resort, right? Wouldn't the club know about it? I'm sure the club would have known about it, right? But why did they let this saga go on for so long?
That's what I don't understand as well. Like,
no,
surely it would have come out if it was personal issues or something genuine. But back to Ndombele, Wayne, says he'd play a decent midfield backup to allow Ndombele to play his game. Even the rest of the team have to do extra work. And Alan has said he's just had a baby. If it doesn't wake him up, nothing will. Such a great talent shouldn't go to waste. For Wayne's comment, I think against Man City, I don't think you can have passengers, regardless of if they've started on 5 or not. But in terms of, I think Watford is our next home game. So certainly in that one, I'd agree with Wayne there. And get Ndombele almost like a free roll, doesn't really have to track back if he doesn't want to. But against Man City, I'm not sure about that. In terms of Alan's comment, you don't know how things like that affect people. He is quite a young. He's only 23, I think, isn't he, Ndombele? So in that time, he's obviously right. Okay,
maybe 23, 24.
So in that time, he's obviously got into the ranks at Lyon, become one of the most sought after players. When we bought him, one of the most sought after players in Europe. Completely changed country, and then obviously he couldn't see anyone because the coronavirus hit. And now he's had a baby. So in terms of his mentality, I think he's got a strong mentality because Jose called him out publicly and then he responded by forcing his way back into the team. But yeah, I mean, Alan's last comment there, such a great talent, shouldn't go to waste. Absolutely agree with that. I mean, the way he just dribbles past people, takes 3 people out of the game in one turn. If you need to be able to harness that as a manager in your team and get the best out of him there. So maybe what Wayne says, play a backup midfield to allow Ndombele to just do his stuff. Because he could win games on his own or even not on his own, takes 3 people out of the game, and then there's so much space for a Son, Morva, Kane if he plays, Bergwijn, Gill to run into and for him to pick them out. But yeah, is that how you play Ndombele, and do you think he's the baby and has affected him, or do you just think it's...
To tell you the truth, I think the baby shouldn't always be the excuse, right? To affect your performance and all that. To me, is that excuses are not there, right? If you start making an excuse, then all the excuses coming out and all that. Because a lot of things when the media puts it out, the information and all that, it's not a statement by Ndombele. Did Ndombele come out and say, "Oh, I have a baby and I'm breastfeeding every night at 3 a.m. so I don't have my fitness"? No, Ndombele has not said a word. So everything is hearsay. All right. Yeah. But what is really behind his problems, right? Maybe it's the fitness level. That's very obvious because if he was fit, he would have at least played 2 games in the preseason. At least. Okay. But the problem, he wasn't fit enough. That's why Nuno didn't pick him. All right. So now, right, the first game of the season, whether he's reached the level of fitness that which is Nuno is satisfied with him, which he says that, okay, you might not be able to play full 90, right? Maybe we'll bring you on the second half, okay, instead of bringing you on as a starter and let you have a run. You see, the problem with, I think, last season was he was always a starter. Don't forget, without his fitness. And being a starter without your fitness, right, you're always taken off. Correct? And that falls into the minds of the fans. Oh shit, he's not fit enough. Why is he not fit enough all the time? Yeah. How many games he can't even play a full 90-minute games, two games in a row, right? That goes into the fans' mind. But if you reversed it, if he wasn't fit enough, bring him on the 45. You can say, or on the 30, or on the last 15. Then just tell him, take the ball and run, and do what you want to do. Yeah. But the thing is that, like I said, maybe there was another Jose mistake again. How he puts his players on, right? But of course, the way you push a player hard, right? What happens if you get Kane, right? You turn him and you give him another dimension of his game, all right? You got Son, and Son has brought him into another dimension of the game. Højbjerg, another dimension into the game that he's gone into. He's gone 3 levels up. Kane, Son, and Højbjerg has gone 3 levels up, but the rest of the team fell back. They couldn't catch up with Kane, Son, and Højbjerg. If we had at least another 3 or 4 players at Kane's level last season, right, I'm sure we'll be challenging up there with everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
but the problem.
Sorry, carry on.
But the problem when you don't have that, right, you can't play as a team. So you must know your team weakness is where. It's not your team strength, If you know your team strength, right, it's only one player, right? Are you going to say, okay, you take the ball, right, and just take it and dribble it into the goal? That's not football. You remember the show called The Road to Victory? About the war one.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Did you see that? Pele said he was an actor there. Pele said that in the match against the teams that play. Pele just said this: "You all just stand there. 10 of you just stand there. Give me the ball, and I'll take it and I'll score." Right? Yeah. But that doesn't happen in real life.
Nah.
Football is a team game. The team has to work together. So, like I said, if your team is not strong enough, you'll never get anywhere. That's why my only hope now, right, is hopefully Nuno can more or less bring back the confidence to those who have lost their confidence, bring back the fitness to those who have lost their fitness, and try to re-gel back this squad of players into a team, right? Not individual superstars, right? If you have 3 great individual superstars, what's the use? The rest of them are useless, right? Remember, against West Ham, 3 goals in the first half. So first half an hour, 3 goals, right? What happened? The defense screwed up. We ended up drawing 3-3. And to tell the truth, we were lucky we didn't lose that game, the way the defense was going, right? If that game was longer, another 10 minutes, right, I can tell you we've lost it. We've lost it. Because once we reached 3-3, right, the morale of the team was on the ground. You could see nobody was tracking back for the ball. Nobody was chasing everything. Escape to victory. Yes, Wayne. Escape to victory. Yeah. Alan remembers it, and Wayne remembers it. Yeah. And maybe it's not your time, Chris, at the time. I'm not sure how.
Well, I was born in the 80s, but I've still seen Jaws, so there's no excuse really.
Go and look for it. Escape to victory. It's a show in the background is World War II, right? And you have a look. It's quite a nice film. It's called more or less a football classic nowadays. We call it.
Yeah.
And you have Michael Kane too, if I'm not mistaken.
You mentioned the West Ham game there. Like, I think that was kind of the story of our season. Get the lead, sit back, which I'm not sure will happen with Nuno. I think. And certainly, if that was this season, Jose was in charge this season. I can't believe that would last that long because the fans would make it known that they're not happy with that constantly losing leads. But you mentioned Skip earlier.
But Chris, don't forget, if Jose was around from last season, right, and he won us the League Cup, right, it'll be different. Different. You understand, sir? The fans wouldn't care, right? Of all whatever happened, we'll be so happy that we have a cup. Imagine that. Right, we'll be so happy we had a cup. Oh gosh, I don't talk about that. It brings back memories.
Apparently, obviously, Ardiles was in the film as well. I'll have to watch it.
Yes,
I'll find it on Amazon or Netflix or something like that. But you mentioned Skip. I don't think Ndombele will start against City just because he hasn't played and he won't be fit, and you need fitness. But Skip has played and is obviously, a big prospect for the future. Do you think he will play? Do you think it will be a kind of Tanganga against Liverpool situation, throw him into the lion's den, as it were, see what he's made of against one of the best teams in the country? Or do you think he'll go for experience in this one with someone like a Lo Celso or it could be Winks? He's got experience, but yeah.
Let's see the back four. Let's say we play 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, right? We'll have Reguilon on the left. Either Sanchez or Romero in the center, okay, and maybe Tanganga on the right, okay. I don't even want to talk about Doherty or Rick, all right. We keep it as a 4, okay. And if you have a 4, right, then let's say double pivot with Skip and Højbjerg, right. Then maybe a Lo Celso and a Mora, okay, and then maybe let's say we come down to Son. And plus one more. It would be Son and Harry normally, okay? But let's say Harry is not available now. Or for it could be Son and Scarlett for
I think it's far too early for Scarlett. But that would be chucking him into the lion's den, like literally first ever seen game.
But if you are talented enough and you are strong enough and you have the skills, right? What if? Put him in. And if he performs, he might be for all we know, bye-bye Kane, we don't need you. Right? But okay, come back to Skippy. Skippy, if you play in that position, right, it will be a very good thing because more or less Skippy could let Højbjerg go further forward a bit. Okay? But like you said before, somehow or another, have you not noticed Spurs in this past few years out, even during more or less, you said during the Poch time until the transition to Jose time, right? Our youngsters never get a lot of chances, Somehow or another, they don't get a lot of chances. That's why I really wish Nuno give them a chance, especially like Sessegnon and, for all you know, Sessegnon might play.
Yeah.
But Sessegnon is on the left again, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So
he's a kind of wing back or winger, isn't he? But Alan said he thinks Skip is ready to play alongside Højbjerg. Seen YouTube videos of him play so much like Højbjerg. I mean, that would be superb if we had two like that. And Wayne has said something similar. Absolutely ready. Plays older than his age suggests. But for me, I think if he's the future and it's going to be a Højbjerg and Skip partnership, get them in as soon as possible. And it worked for Tanganga, but then for some reason, like he never played after that. He played a couple of games and then was just left out. But But he passed that test with Liverpool against Mane, which regardless of how Liverpool were playing at the time or anything like that, or Mane was playing at the time, he's still one of the best forwards around, and he didn't really give him anything. So yeah, I think I agree with Alan and Wayne. Stick him in, see what he's got.
Because I think the season one season under Jose was, I think we just write it off, because I think Jose felt that he was conned by a certain person when he went to the club and he wasn't given what he was promised, right?
No.
Because don't forget, the beginning of the season, all he was crying for was a strong centre back, right? And somehow or another, we ended up with Rodon. No disrespect to Rodon. Rodon has the potential, right? We ended up with
he's
Rodon
one for the future, isn't he? We needed one for the now.
Yeah. If maybe Levy had given him Skriniar, right? Maybe the whole scenario would have changed, right? But we are not. We can't tell what happens when it passes past, right? And more or less, you can see Jose was playing in a very weird way. Okay, the first third of the season, we were top of the league. Don't forget, Chris, top of the league under Jose, right? That was surprisingly. And that time, my heart was saying, "Oh my God, we might have a chance." You know.
Yeah.
But somehow or another, the whole thing collapsed, right? And I think the thing collapsed was maybe Jose was given news, right? He wasn't going to get any improvements in January. Don't forget, it was very weird. Early December, Jose was already coming out and say that we're not going to get any improvements in the January transfer windows. We're not buying any players in January transfer window. So I guess that's when Jose's own heart fell down, right? And I think Jose wanted the League Cup. If it was played in February, right, most probably he would have won it. The scenario would have changed. The momentum would have changed and all that. But the League Cup was postponed to April. You see? So it prolongs Jose's agony and pain more, which I think it reflected on the team selection, right? Because he only played the players that he had trust in, and he didn't give any chances to any other players somehow or another. And you do that, right? What happens to the players that keep playing non-stop? Sunday, Thursday, oh, burn out. But when they burn out, they dare not even go and tell the manager, "Sir, I can't play like this." Right? Because if you tell him that, you will not even be in the squad. Right? That's what Jose does. Okay? Yeah. But okay, not to talk about what happened in the past, right?
No.
But now we've got Nuno. And we've seen a lot of difference that Nuno has brought back into the team and into the squad, right? He focuses more on the fitness, okay? And I hope that he actually does have a nutritionist around to make sure that they eat properly, right? You know, like we got problem with Tanguy, who can't control the way he eats and his diet. But sometimes, to tell you the truth, certain people have got different metabolisms, okay? It could be something wrong with his metabolism. That's why he may be eating normally, but he's not burning enough of the fat and all the bad, what you call cholesterol and all that, which is stuck in him, right? So there might be a way that you need to change his diet and find another way to adjust the way he works, right? And when you have problems like that, usually it will affect your fitness and your energy levels and your strength. That's why you never see him play more than, 90 minutes, 3 or 4 games in a row, because he can't do that. And maybe the weird part, when Ryan Mason took over, right, during the whole month of Ramadan, right, we didn't see him at all. You see? But Aurier played. Don't forget, during the month of Ramadan, I'm Muslim too, right? Aurier played and he fasted too. You remember? Aurier had to break fast halfway in the game. When the game was going on, he ran to the side, drank a couple of water, took some dates, and then he kept running. Yeah. So maybe he has certain problems like that. But to tell the truth, if that is a medical problem, right, then that is a recruitment problem. Because why didn't the medical team and the recruitment team pick that up before it bought him for a record fee? Right.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Jose there. I just don't think Jose was a fit. I think he's a bit of a footballing dinosaur. His ways of playing and
managing the people.
Yeah. I think Nuno is far more suited. Like, similar to Poch. I mean, you can let a player know that what they've done in a game or training or whatever is not acceptable without giving them the threat of being lined up before the firing squad. Which I got the feeling that the players, certainly Sanchez, who you can tell when he's not confident because he lets the ball bounce, winks because he doesn't look forward, and there were countless others. But I think you could tell that they were just absolutely terrified of making mistakes because of what Jose would do. And I think that works for someone like if you're Ibrahimovic, who could lose a leg and he'd still have the confidence that he could go win games. He's unflappable like that. Whereas we have, you mentioned it earlier, we've got a few who are unflappable, but the majority aren't. You can't go round threatening this, that, any little mistake, because it just won't work. And I think Nuno, like Poch, and people will say, yeah, but that's because they're too soft. That's why you don't win anything. But it's a balancing act. You can't be too soft, and every mistake is that's fine. Don't worry about it. But then you can't be too hard. It's a little mistake.
I give you the example where Poch problem is. Have you noticed that during the seasons when Poch was in charge, right? Harry Kane's injuries problem, right, is always 2 months minimum. He always misses at least 2 months of the season minimum. Why? Because he overtrains them, pushes them too hard, right? 90 minutes not enough running, 120 minutes not enough running. That maybe you break him down too much, okay? And at the same time, he never had a backup striker to support him thoroughly. So that's why I see. But when Jose came in, did you notice that Harry Kane injury was just like 2 weeks? Or was it 10 days? Remember? He rolled his ankle and then within 10 days he was back, right? So maybe certain times when you do too much hard training, there's a fatigue. So you must be able to pick out what players need that hard training, okay? What kind of players don't need it, but they need a certain kind of training to maintain their levels at that 100%, but not over pushing him that whenever he gets injured, he is out for at least a month to 2 months, right? So, like you said, the balance has to be there, okay? Hopefully, Nuno can catch that balance, right? And as you were going to the Jose thing, right? Maybe Jose is to a bit of S&M, so that's why a lot of beating and spanking. So, so the players don't like it, right? So no, as you see, the mentality is different because, like Jose was saying, like what Harry Kane was saying, that you have to be professional yourself. You look after your own health, your diet, everything. Jose is not there to be a kindergarten teacher and smack you with a ruler every time you pick up a burger to eat, right? Or have some, have a Ben Jerry's ice cream, or do something stupid, right? Because he expects you to be at that level, which is only, I think, 3 or 4 players in that whole squad last year had it, right? As we can actually, not even in 5 fingers, we can count. The rest of them didn't have it, basically, right? So now we come back, move down the line. Now we got Nuno. Okay, for all my focus now is that this Sunday's match, we must let go of all the news about who is coming in, who is going out, whether Kane is staying, Kane is not staying. Only focus now is that the squad and Nuno. And what Nuno puts out there, right, on Sunday, right, 16:30 GMT, which is 4:30 your time, 11:30 my time, PM here, right? Then we will see what is really happening. Because now it's all speculation. That's why the beginning of the season is always the most exciting, is because everything's unknown. We do not know. And don't forget, later tonight, Brentford is playing Arsenal. For all you know,
today, isn't it?
Yeah, the season is starting tonight.
Chris. It was Friday. I haven't known what day it is for about a year and a half.
Don't forget, the season is starting tonight. All right, and what happens if Brentford goes out and whip Arsenal tonight? Wouldn't everybody be going, oh, what's happening?
Yeah.
We do not know, right?
Yeah.
We do not know. That's why the beginning of the season, the first 3 matches or so, first 3 to 6 matches, right, is the most exciting. That's when you actually see where your team is. Because the first 3 matches is most probably still in the transfer window. Then the next 3 matches is after the transfer window. But don't forget, we still have the transfer window open for the internal EFL league, where we still can buy players from the lower leagues in the English pyramid, okay? But not outside, right? So for all you know, it might have to end up until 10 matches before you see the real team that is there. The real team, the real core of the squad is there, you see? So like I said, excitement is there. I want to be positive. That's the most important thing. All the fans have to be positive. Give Nuno the support. Give your players the support. It doesn't matter who is playing on the field that day. Just give them the support first. Give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Even though no matter what has happened the past 2-3 years, we've seen them do what and whatever. still give them the benefit of the doubt, because in the end of the day, hopefully Nuno can bring them out to play for the badge and the club with their heart. You see, with their heart, and of course their brain. Because we have got a lot of players like we see. What is he doing? Where is his football brain? Right?
Yeah.
Right? That's how I see it. Yeah.
Well, going back to Kane, Wayne has pretty much agreed with you there. He's been fatigued for years. I mean, that goes from being just the only striker at the club. He does too much for the team because others haven't done enough. And that goes to what I've been screaming about for months or a year now. When Eriksen left, we never got a playmaker. So he essentially had to become the playmaker and the striker. So, I mean, if he went to City, he wouldn't get that. He'd be the striker. That's it. And he'd probably be rotated with Jesus as well if they didn't sell him. In terms of Ndombele, Alan has said he doesn't understand how any player can be and remain overweight during the season. But the video that I saw of him doing the photo shoot, he didn't look overweight at all. The picture that I saw saying he was overweight, it must have been an old picture, because the Ndombele that was in that photo shoot didn't look anything like that. But again, this is all media. And then Alan goes on to say, "Go Brentford." I think we can all agree with that.
But that's the reply to Alan, right? The overweight thing, right? Has anybody actually seen him stand on the scales and take a picture and the coach says, "You're overweight"? No.
I think it's just because he can't, like you say, finish the whole match and people just put two and two together.
That's what I said. Yeah. That's what I said. Remember, if we didn't play him as the starting 11, remember I said that. If we played him and brought him on, in the second half and all that, then maybe the pressure wouldn't be on too much on him. But maybe at that time during last season, the previous manager didn't have a choice because he couldn't trust anybody else, right? And don't forget, Lo Celso was injured for quite a long time. He came back in nearly half of the season, then he came back in and then he brought up his fitness, and that's when he was more a regular player, right?
Yeah.
So like I said, at the moment, we have to actually, the excitement is building up, right, day by day. Not only for us as Spurs fans, every football club fan in the Premier League now, the excitement is building up, and especially tonight when Brentford plays Arsenal, and like what Alan says, "Go Brentford." Yes, go Brentford, because there is this meme or joke now going on that whenever Arsenal lose, straightly go to AFTV and see their reaction.
I see the clips. Just before we go, what are your thoughts of Spurs' chances this season, and what would you say would be a successful season for this year?
To me, my way of thinking, right? If we want to be there, we must challenge for number one. But of course, realistically, we don't have the tools to challenge for number one. If not, why are we challenging at all, right? Top four and all that. That's why sometimes I wonder, why do Spurs fans always wonder being top four is such a wonderful thing? We've not won anything, all right? Why aren't we going for the league itself, right? If we get number one and we don't succeed, okay, at least we'll be either 2, 3, or 4, and then we'll be in top 4. All right? Isn't that the normal logical calculation you get, right? Okay, but realistically, this season, I'll be very, very happy with a cup. Right, very, very happy with a cup. If we does that
include the Europa Conference?
I don't care. Just as long as it's not the Audi Cup, right? Just as long a cup during the season, whether it's the ECL, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, right? I don't care, right? Just as a cup. And if we do get 4th, I'll be very happy too, all right? Because it's showing that we're moving forward. Just as long we're above the Arsenal.
Yeah. Wayne's pretty much agreed there. 5th or 6th and a cup. He's preference FA Cup. I'm not sure if that's his what he thinks will happen or what he thinks is a good season scenario. But I think if we win anything and finish 10th, you've got to consider that probably 10th would be terrible, but you've got to consider that a success because we won a cup. But
no, I understand.
Alan's made a prediction. If Spurs v Roma in the Conference Cup, you need to put that on a bet, Alan, because if that comes true and you haven't put that on a bet and you lose out on however many £100, you'll be
what's the odds?
Doesn't matter if you predict it.
Just to answer Wayne's preference to the FA Cup. You must understand, me and Wayne, we are above 50s, right? The FA Cup to us, right, brings a lot of prestige. Don't forget. Somehow or another, during those days, the FA Cup was just like winning the title, the first division title, you know, because the FA Cup has got more history. You see, the FA Cup history is so much longer, and to tell the truth, the history has been diluted, and of course, ever since the Champions League came along, a lot of the cups has been more or less, because FA Cup was usually the league title, FA Cup, right, and the European, what at the time it's called the European Championship or something like that. Before it was changed to the European Championship, and of course the UEFA, and then the Carabao Cup, or that time it was also called the Carling Cup, the Worthington Cup. It was a lot of names for our League Cup. So FA Cup brings back a lot of memories because for me and Wayne, we go back when the years that we did live in the 80s, the FA Cup, and of course, not mistaken, 91, did we win one FA Cup too? We were not mistaken, League Cup, right. So
Wayne
FA Cup.
Wayne said if we finished 10th, we'd still finish above Arsenal, which
I'll take it.
Well,
10 and Arsenal 15. I'll take that.
I still think, I mean, I mentioned before that I always think we can win. I still think we can get fourth. I think City, possibly United and Chelsea, I think will be in top three. Liverpool possibly in fourth. But I think fourth always is up for grabs. Because come the end of the season, all those teams who are up for fourth never ever seem to want it because they keep losing silly games. So I definitely think we can get fourth. We need to win a cup, whether that's any one of the three, and I think that would be a good season. But I still think we can get fourth. But obviously,
it's good.
It depends on a lot. Depends a lot. But again, that goes to what you said earlier. You've got to be positive. But and you never know. If you get on a good run, we've got some pretty tough games at the start. But if you can win all of those, you get on a run, confidence is flowing. You saw what happened to Leicester in that season where they were 5,000 to 1. You never know. If you can keep all your players fit, go on a good run, you know. Yeah, so I wouldn't rule out winning the title. Very, very unlikely. But I wouldn't rule it out. But
for all you know, the moon, the stars, and the planets align, and then something.
Exactly, and then Kane stays forever, beats Greaves' record, sets a new one, which is ridiculous, and then we're all happy. But unfortunately, we've run out of time. Thanks so much, Eugene, for coming on, and welcome back.
My pleasure, Chris. My pleasure.
Obviously, I do videos on Friday 8 p.m. on Monday, so unless you want to wake up at the crack of dawn, that's probably unlikely. But all these preview shows, we've obviously talked about other stuff, but it is Let's Talk Tottenham, so it's anything Tottenham related. Thanks so much for coming on. And just before you go, in case anyone missed at the start, your Spurs channel, where can they find it?
Spursuasian TV, the channel that we run for more or less the Asian fans, to get to link up and bridge up with the local fans and fans across the world. At the moment, we are doing about 3 shows a week. We have a midweek show, all right, just initiated by one of the India Spurs boys, right? Thanks to him. And we are planning another one for the Australian side. And my usual slot is Sunday, 1 p.m. GMT. So now my usual slot has become a bit interesting because all of Spurs matches are played on Sunday. So if the games are late, like this coming MCT game is like 4:30 p.m. your time, more or less 11:30 my time. The 1 p.m. slot is still on, and we will go on for about 3. Usually my shows goes on for about 3 hours. Then we'll more or less call it a preview show. If the game is early and it starts about 2 p.m. GMT, most probably that show will turn into a preview show, watch along, halftime show, and a post-match analysis show. 4 shows in one stream. Well, let's see what happens then.
If nothing else, that's unique, so you need to get over and watch that and then subscribe to the channel, get the likes in. But as I said, thanks so much for coming on. Welcome back anytime, and I'm sure we'll do some more in the future.
Yep, we'll do more.
But until then, Man City at the weekend. We can win that. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Thank you so much for watching, for everybody who participated in the live chat and added comments. Before you go, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Anybody who couldn't watch the live video, you can still catch us on YouTube. Add any comments, suggestions or questions to the comments section on the video. Anybody who's listened to the audio-only podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anybody who wants the audio-only podcast, you get this wherever you get your podcast from. Alternatively, if you go to Twitter, @LTalkTottenham, you'll find all the information there. We'll be back soon. We're live Mondays, 8 p.m, Fridays, 12:30 UK time. Until then, come on, you Spurs!